I started my first day of school. I had to repeat my senior year, so now I'm 19. I live in a small town where the middle and high school share the same building. Since it's a small school, I already knew most of the kids. On my first day, I had study hall as the first class. While sitting there, I noticed a new face across the room. I decided to go over and say hi. The new guy, Chris, told me he had just moved here. I helped him get familiar with the school, showing him around and guiding him to his next class. While showing him around the school, I noticed something was a bit odd about him. He started asking me questions during the tour. At first, they were regular questions like how long I've been at the school or where our classroom was. However, he then asked some weird questions, and one in particular caught my attention. He wanted to know my address and Snapchat. I found it strange and uncomfortable, but I decided not to share my address. Eventually, I decided to give him my Snapchat and continued with the rest of my day. When the last class of the day began, it was my English class. When I entered, I saw that there were only around 9 students in the room. Since I was in the lowest level English class, I wasn't expecting a large turnout. I took my seat, and as I glanced behind me, I noticed Chris, a classmate, munching on a pretty unappetizing sandwich. He motioned for me to join him from across the room. However, since Mr. Beck, our English teacher, was about to start the class, I decided to ignore Chris and focus on the lesson. A few minutes later, I glanced up from my book and noticed Chris staring at me again. This time, he seemed more upset. Once more, he signaled for me to come over, but I kept reading. Suddenly, my phone beeped, and I saw a Snapchat message from Chester saying, "Follow me." I replied, "I can't, we're in the middle of class." After that, I watched him ask Mr. Beck if he could go to the bathroom, and he left the room. Curious about why he wanted me to follow him, I waited for about 5 minutes, and then asked Mr. Beck if I could also go to the bathroom. I headed out into the hall. I didn't know where he went, so I checked each hallway. Eventually, I spotted him walking slowly about 60 feet away. I kept my distance so he wouldn't notice me. He turned into a hallway not often used for classes, more for storage, bathrooms, and offices. I watched him open a door, go inside, and close it. When I approached the door, I realized it led to the school's basement. No way was I going down there. I casually returned to my class. Upon my return, my phone made a noise. It was him once more. Initially, he messaged me questioning, "Why didn't you go into the basement?" Subsequently, he shared a photo of himself munching on a revolting sandwich in the basement. Another message urged me to come down there. At this point, I was feeling uneasy about the guy, so I told him to stop bothering me. Afterward, I deleted and blocked him. After I got home, I started doing my homework right away. By the time I finished, it was around 10 p.m., and I was alone at home. While putting away my homework, I got a notification on Snapchat. Someone added me as a friend, and the account was named, "Why Didn't You Enter the Basement?" It turned out to be him, so I blocked that account. A few minutes later, I got another friend request from an account called, "Why'd You Block Me?" I blocked that one too, but then another request came in. This one was scarier. It was named, "I Know Where You Live," and it was followed by a message saying, "I'm right outside your house." Right then, I heard a window break downstairs. I quickly called the police and explained what was going on. The operator advised me to find a safe place to hide and lock the door. I hung up and rushed into the hallway closet. I heard someone walking around the house going from downstairs to upstairs. Worried, I opened the closet door a bit and saw a person at the end of the dark hallway. It was Chris. He didn't seem to realize I saw him until he looked towards the closet. I stayed quiet, hoping he wouldn't know I was inside. Instead of closing the door, I went deeper in the closet. He struggled to find the light, and I stayed hidden. Eventually, he gave up, and I heard his footsteps going downstairs. A few moments later, the police knocked on the door. I quickly opened up and explained what had happened. However, when they checked, Chris was gone, and there was no one on my property. They discovered he escaped through a basement window. I shared all the details with the police. and they assured me they would do their best to track him down. The strange part was what the principal said. They had no records of him ever being a student. It gave me shivers. After checking the camera footage, they found out he sneaked in through a back entrance and just acted like one of the other kids. I never saw him again in school, and the police never contacted me. But I still wonder why he wanted me to go into the school basement. All I can say is he was probably the most dangerous person I've ever met, and I don't know what he wanted. What are your thoughts about this story? See you next time around. Take care.